Hello, hello, hi. Once again, the moral high ground, where I'm going to try to talk about what's morally right. I don't know, but today I'm going to be talking about moral support. I mean, it's morally something, and I just want you all to realize you can go to Spotify, Apple Cast, Pocket Cast, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, all these places to listen to this nice podcast. You can also leave me a voice message on Spotify on anything you got to say about whatever episode I previously did. Um, and I prefer it that way. I can know, I'll make a whole episode about whatever it is you're talking about. Um, at the same time, I want to get a shout out to all those fans that be listening to my stuff and watching my stuff. I appreciate you more than you realize. At least someone's got the courage to give someone a chance and support that individual. And you can support me by liking, following, subscribing, sharing, and all that jazz. So, with that being said, let's get into this support thing because it's a different type of moral support. Morally right, moral support. It fits. Since I thought of this, it doesn't seem that bright, but it's bright. In some kind of way, it makes sense. Uh, so anyway, what I'm gonna say is this: okay, we have to do a lot of things in life, and whether it's good or bad, or known and unknown, or what would happen when we do these things, we need some kind of support, someone on our side, someone to protect us. You know, most people believe that they don't need to do things with nobody, and those that do believe they got to do something with somebody, they find a way to make themselves um, available for people, available to help out other people and have them help you out in return. This is the natural order of things. I think you help someone, they help you back, and vice versa. It should happen like this. Uh, and I think there's not enough of that going on right now because there's so many people out here that are lonely, miserable, just in a bad way because they don't have people to support them. They don't have people listening to them, telling them, "Hey, I got your back. I can help you do this," or "I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to help you with whatever finances you need or whatever." This is the problem, and we got to find a way to fix this problem. We got to find a way to make it to where people can be able to communicate and have that support, have each other's back. It's simple when you watch like things like a movie, and in a movie you see people come together, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, come on!" Like there'll be something like they're in some kind of program, and they're forced to help some person, like an elderly person, or they babysit little kids or something. Then they starting to realize they can teach this person and help them better their lives. And by the end of the movie, they're buddies, or either they broke up somewhere in the middle of the movie, but they come back together and realize that they can't uh, stand not living without each other. Sounds good in movies, doesn't sound good in real life because in real life that doesn't happen that much. You don't get people to volunteer for programs unless there's some kind of uh, forced uh, class on them by the government, or should I say the legal system, local legal systems. They'd be like, "Oh, you got to join this program." A normal day basis. I don't think every regular citizen is thinking about joining some kind of citizen uh, helping, community thing. You're not thinking about joining these clubs or these group meetings and stuff. And anger management is one that's thrown out there a lot, and it's like, does it really work? Because you're gonna get angry at some point, and I don't think anger management really works. Their strategy is more piss you off more. And the thing about it is that only works for Jack Nicholson and freaking Adam Sandler. I'm sorry, you know. Me, I found a good way to control anger is through faith and belief in something and trying to seriously search my thoughts. Meditation works in a way. You have to search your thoughts and analyze who you are as an individual. You got to find that harmony within that balance within your soul. There's things you like, there's things you desire, there's things you need to look over again in your mind and go, hey, was this right? Did I do this right? How can I, if I had to relive this day again, what would I do? How could I fix what I did? Or did I give this thing everything I had? Did I give it my all to make this day go right? You have to ponder these types of things, even in relationships. Did I love her enough? Or did I care enough? Was I saying the right things? Did I find a way to make her happy, or was she pretending to be happy? You got to think things like this, or you know, did I pay enough money on this insurance, or should I have paid enough on this bill? You just got to ponder. The thing is, what I'm saying is, you got to think, and thinking is the best way to try to move forward. You got to try to. I don't think a lot of people think they just go and just jump into things without thinking about it and ruin a party for everybody. But the reason why I'm saying this type of thing, and I'm not trying to go off, and you probably heard me say those type of things before, is just that you have to sit there and seriously take the time to analyze yourself and the type of person you want to be. And I think the best way is to show support for someone else. Because while you're sitting there thinking all these thoughts and you're doubting yourself or you're putting yourself down, whatever it is, once you try to help somebody else or interact with other people, you start to see your value when it comes to whatever it is, your knowledge or your education or just the way you are as a all around person. You know, spiritually wise, you'll start to see people say, "Oh, you got a good God in you," and you got to understand these things are something that needs to be said, needs to be done. Right now in this country, we have the most wickedest of people walking around, corrupting, being controlling, being part of the problem. And they're part of the problem because society itself is failing. And it's failing because so many people are giving in to either wicked desires or things that don't make sense, just irrational, illogical, delusional stuff. And it needs to be put in order. And I think the way you can combat all this is to have some form of course, I'm going to say morality, but not just to have some form of morality, but to have a good sense of understanding other people. And the main problem with, you hear this comment all the time when people say something about racism. They say, "Oh, people fear what they don't understand." Well, people can't live right because they don't understand themselves or the world. So they understand only what they know. One thing I'm always saying, telling people is that they only, you can't blame somebody because they only know what's right by them. I always tell people that you can't blame them. They only know what's right by them. They only know the world that they created, the things they think is right. So you can't really blame them. They're not at fault. What's at fault is wherever the information they got it from. That place is at fault. And so this is why being a moral supporter for somebody is a good thing. You have to come and try to guide them on the right path. Be a Padawan learner for a minute. Let someone lead you in the right path if you have to. But sit there and, be the Jedi. Sit there and guide them, teach them the way. I'm throwing Star Wars references in because I watched that Kenobi stuff. And, well, the thing is, it's just like, you got to sit there and you got to think about it. Okay, there's someone younger than you. Now, recently I've seen some things that's a little demented, but in a way it makes sense. But I've seen certain groups of people hanging around young people that have no relation or relative ties, and their intentions are flawed and negative and wrong. And I'm like, this is bad. But at the same time, I start pondering, and I'm thinking to myself, and I started thinking it's because once again I watched some stupid kung fu movie, but it always happens in kung fu movies. There's always some young dude or some shit, and some old ass master dude, and he's teaching this dude how to do martial arts, and then this stuff, and the old dude is sitting there smoking a cigarette or eating something it's out of a bowl, or he's got the wine and he's drunk and he's doing the kung fu, so it's like they're always an old guy and a young guy. And you even get into it even more. You think about Merlin and King Arthur, because Merlin's an old ass wizard, and then here you got this young kid, King Arthur, and it just goes on and on. And then the phrase "old men talking and young men dying." This is what war's about. So somewhere in there has to be young people being trained by old people and taught by old people the way, because the old people have all the knowledge of what was. Like I watched some stupid video earlier today. I had no idea that freaking Grimace from McDonald's was a freaking super villain. And like, what the hell is Grimace? It's just some stupid shit. But it was an old ass, ancient ass commercial from the '60s or early '70s, somewhere in there. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. It made McDonald's dark immediately. But I would have never known that because I was born at the end of the '70s, not the beginning of the '70s or anywhere in the '60s. So someone older would have been able to express these type of things, and this happens to all of us as we get older. And then there's some young kid, and they don't know. You could be playing freaking, I don't care what you be playing TLC, and some kids like, what is that? I never heard of that until you're like, what? You don't know who TLC is? Some shit like that. So the reason why this happens so much and there's so much ignorance right now is because there's not enough old people teaching the way to the young folks, and there's not enough young folks that care about what's going on with the old people because they're sitting back so worried about trying to look cool, trying to press something, trying to be the badass, trying to be the top dog, and they're not getting nowhere. All they're doing is stretching their balls and rolling around in a circle, and they put their head down. You know what I mean? And dogs do that shit all day long. But honestly, it's like it's so simple. I see it so simple. But that's a support system that could happen for the young and at the same time for the old, because that young person will have loyalty for that old person that's teaching them and pretty much taking care of them by guiding them. I mean, if you're, it's like that saying, leading a horse to water and then making them drink and stuff like that. So it's like if you lead the kid to knowledge and the path that's going to guide them the rest of their life, the kid will be there to support you, or a person will be able to, and it'll bring a lot more happiness in that person's life for a long time, and that's a good thing. The other moral support I'm talking about comes from just the most simplest of things. Okay, it comes from a friend. If you got a friend and they're supporting you and they got your back and they're always there, like if someone tries to attack you, they attacking that person or whatever, or helping you get the hell out of there because you never know who got a gun nowadays. People don't like to fight anymore, and yeah, that's a damn shame. But it's the truth. They don't like to fight no more. And you can fight back in the day, and then you beat the living hell out of somebody all day, and then the next day you still got the tension or whatever. A couple days later, maybe a week, you and that dude's hanging out. Hey man, let's go have a drink. Yeah, you okay? Cool, man. I didn't mean that shit. I didn't mean it either. Okay, let's cool. We cool, man. We cool. Let's do this. Yeah. So every time you see you guys, you're friends after that. But that doesn't happen no more. People go straight to the gun, straight to the violence. So this is where a person's morality has to come in a sense where they have to truly respect each other, and of course people don't do that, but there's people who automatically walk up to you, look at you, some try to size you up and tell you who you are just to start some drama. The person that does this is really damaged somewhere in their mind. And someone that did something to them somewhere that they can't figure out, you know, what's right, what's wrong, who's up, who's down. what's going on all around. And what's bad about it is they just sitting there waiting for, the next handout, whatever it is. And you get a friend that's got your back. You're not gonna let people like this just attack you or come in your way. But people afraid now. They fear things, and then at the same time, people are more closed in, and I think this has to do with the internet. They don't want to go nowhere. You got little entertainments and stuff, and you can't trust people as much anymore. So their support system is flawed because you will lose more friends than you will gain, especially with work. And that's another thing. If you can't support your coworkers, and I just skipped from what I was trying to finish, but maybe I'll go back there. But this is important because it should happen in businesses more, because it's all America is these businesses, these corporations. Everything is about selling and buying. They selling and buying you, me, and everybody. You know, and so the thing I'm saying is this. You get a job, you guys should work as a team. It should be everyone has everyone's back. I think team comes from soldiers and so from warriors. Forget basketball and football and all that shit. It comes from literal people working together to defeat an enemy or to tackle a situation, okay, and to eliminate it. You know, and this is the thing. No one knows how to work as a team anymore, and I think it has something to do with like towards the end of the '90s. I think it was the early 2000s, most likely early 2000s, that kids were getting trophies just for being at the game. They don't know how to lose. They can't accept failure in a certain way, so they have to be pampered. The thing I learned from playing football and stuff like that is you got to try harder to get this thing. You got to do it again. You got to fight to get this stuff. You can't sit back and just be like, oh, yeah, I got a trophy for being here. It didn't help a damn thing. You got to fight hard. You got to push and drive to win. And so, with that being said, it's like I don't see why a workforce can't unite instead of trying to have gossip and people thinking they're the boss, trying to bully someone or make someone else look bad when we're all there to get fucking money. And it's the only place that's hiring us at the time. That's not a union, that's not a bond, that's not a friendship. But that support at work needs to happen. I guess that's why they created HR for jobs. But even then, that they got their own rules and guidelines they follow and probably don't get enough respect from enough people as well. So then that person needs support. The ultimate support people is God Almighty. Okay. And let's just be honest about it. Or I wouldn't be calling it moral support if there wasn't no morality within it. No type of thing that tells you about the rules, the safe defense that you have in something, in someone. And the problem is a lot of us don't got enough time to socialize because of things like work. America, work you like a dog, and then you get old, then you pretty much don't have nothing to go for it because unless you're, and this has to do with the fact that the education system teaches you how to be a labor worker, not a billionaire. And honestly, you have to sit back and think, why is that? Because there's so many people who either don't know how to read or don't know how to freaking clean or something. It is certain things they can't do. They don't know how to build a car or work on a car. They don't know how to do all this stuff, and they'll never understand regular things like mathematics or whatever. And so they then labeled all these diagnosis to make an issue to some kind of thing for a person that's I don't know just lacking in certain ways of life. But if that person had support and the school system actually taught real stuff we need to know, like finances, like freaking, insurance, history, true history, not just any kind of history. Like, I mean, come on. Do you know? Kids don't really know how to do insurance. They don't really understand how loans work. They don't really understand how bankruptcy works. They don't understand. I mean, I can go on and on and on. They don't understand how to purchase a home. They don't understand the equity values. They don't understand And another one they really should throw out because people are so focused on hooking up, having sex, making babies, and kids are they still got that pressure. Don't act like they don't, because kids are getting more nookie than anybody because they're young, they look good or whatever, so they make out with each other. And you get a certain age, you're like, damn it, the hell with this shit. That's where I'm at. The hell with that shit. You ain't gonna torture me with your darkness, woman, and I ain't gonna put up with this bullshit. I'm gonna go do my thing and let you go be a whore of the day. And that's the honest to God truth. Because women be acting crazy in relationships unless you can give them that moral support or they're giving you that moral support back. And yes, I keep throwing a word out there like I'm freaking Kamala Harris because I'm trying to mentally brainwash you into supporting somebody morally. And but seriously, just look at that was part of my little script I was working on, and I'm not gonna do it no more because it sounds stupid. But true, honestly though, they're not teaching something in the education system, and one of the things they're not truly teaching is to support people morally and then not give up. And it teaches these people how to use finances, the legal system, medical system. Do you know we can avoid so many things with going to the hospital if more? I mean, because like I remember, like you had health class and stuff, and it's just reading and writing stuff down from the book. Some people remember stuff, some people don't. And then I remember there's some crap you do with a dummy and stupid shit. But honestly, if kids knew more about medical things that heal your body, plants, herbs, and stuff, you know how many people would grow up with that knowledge, and wouldn't need the hospital that much. You wouldn't need to rely on the medical stuff that much. Same thing with the law. If you had children all learning legal stuff and being supported and making them feel confident and wanting to do these things, they would grow up and you wouldn't need that many attorneys. You wouldn't need that many attorneys. You wouldn't need that many uh, paralegals, anything, because everyone knows the law by then. You know, because like I said, the kids are the future. So in so many ways, just try to be a friend and support young people. Is what I'm trying to say. And I went all over hell, but that's what I was trying to say. Seriously, that's what I was trying to say. And so my point is, because we got very short time on this earth, and we all need someone to connect with, someone to be there when we need a friendly ear, someone to tell us they love us, someone that truly sits back and doesn't have an agenda, no hidden agenda, no, they give you something because they want to, or you give them something because you want to. You don't feel forced. Nothing feels taken. You're not losing anything in this transaction, but you have a person you can always call when you need them or whatnot. I think this concept should be pushed into things more like Instagram and Facebook instead of all this visual crap that mentally brainwashes people. If you had like a thing, just make a whole different section for people who want to support people and do it in a different way. There's a thing you're all pressing likes and all this stuff to support, but in some cases, it's not enough for most people. They don't end up on Reddit sending messages to people talking about how they don't have no one that has their back. You believe it or not, there's several different subreddits and things where people talk about how they're sad, how they're lonely. And seriously, you can just go on Reddit right now and say lonely, and you'll see there's a whole thing of people that go, oh, I'm lonely because no one will talk to me, or girls don't like me because I'm ugly, or a girl will say guys don't pay attention to me. And you read them and it just breaks your damn heart. They be breaking my heart, man. I be like, dang. And I try to give advice, and either people are laughing, or because when I'm not, it's just the way I talk. Either they laugh it, or they're just like, yeah, you're right, man. They want to join forces with me against the world. So be supportive to these people because there's something lacking right now because of technology. The connection is gone. There's no, I mean, I had somebody try to tell me that video games is the reason why people are separated now, and he tried to use the '70s and '80s as a point of why, you know. And I got in this whole thing, and I'm like, that's bullshit, man. I was like, he's like, no, it isn't. You think about it, computers came in the '60s or '70s and the '80s, and then start changing how people think and do, and then the movies, and he's just like hating anything that's got some form of technology, that's a form of entertainment, or uh, to succeed in business. And the thing about it was, I kept explaining stuff. I said like, hey, I had a Nintendo. I used to go outside all the time when it came out, and I used to play or whatever. But I went outside because you get pissed off. You got to blow in the back of the damn thing. And you keep losing because you're dying quick as hell. It's like I played I got a little tiny one, and I try to play that old stuff. I used to play the Ninja Gaiden and all that crap. And I'm like, damn, how the hell did I get so far back in the day in this game? It's like it makes no sense. You die all the time. But the good thing about it is you should just put a game in and play. And instead of just this loading thing and this stupid training thing, just play. You know. But the guy might be a little right in some cases, but I don't think video games were the first cause of it because now internet's consumed humanity to where it's on our phones. Like, who would think you would put a computer and a phone together and be able to do all this crazy stuff that we do? Somebody was thinking about trying to make an impact on the culture, and they did that. Maybe they thought they were going to move mankind steadily forward and advance into a way where we could be like super intelligent people. But people sit there all day long with their phones and got Google on it and don't and still ask you, "Hey, do you remember this? Where do you think I can find that?" Because they don't. There's clueless. People are naturally dumb in some ways, but you got to have these people's backs. So I mean, whoever invented this thing was might have had good intentions. It's one of the things where the road is paved with good intentions. The road to hell, anyway. And so I'm gonna say, take a step back from all this stuff every now and then. Take a step back from your normal group of people you hang out with. Find someone that looks like they need a friend, someone that needs an ally, someone that needs your guidance, maybe young or old, and find a way to help them out. Maybe they need you to bring food to them every week if they're old, or maybe they need you to, drive them to wherever the hell kids go and do stuff. And, museums, or kids don't go to museums, but still, like, whatever kids need help with, or whatever old person needs help with, or whatever a woman needs help with, like a mother, single mother, whatever, if you're a guy, instead of being that guy like, damn, baby, look at your ass and all that shit that people do. When in all reality, it doesn't need to be said every time because pretty much they've heard it a billion times before you got in the area. Look for the most thing that looks more improved on. Like there was this guy I knew, this girl, she came in with new hairdo. This dude's going on about all this other stuff and trying to get her attention, trying to make her pay attention to him. And I just said, and I was quiet the whole time. Then I just said, "I like your hair." She goes, "Oh, thank you." Da, 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 da. I gave her a reaction because that's what she wanted to hear. So it's like you got to look for what they did to change. It might be their nails, which is weird, and the rest of the stuff. But that's what you do if you're a guy, and that's off topic. But anyway, hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from, and you find someone that you want to support, someone you want to care about. Look out for like a little brother or a little sister, you know, or a father figure or mother figure that needs help. You got to be supportive. What's lacking in our world right now is not just the need for God, not just the understanding of the world, but sharing and caring for each other. And I believe we can do this. And I believe all of us can come together at one time. We just got to leave all the bullshit away and behind. But anyway, I'd like to thank you all for listening. And I hope you do find someone you can support morally, physically, mentally, whatever. And just be able to share this thing and follow and leave your opinions if you're on Spotify. Peace be with you all, and blessings upon you always. Until next time, farewell. human beings.